Welcome to another North Penn High School expansion update. I'm Dr. Vince Cotter, Principal, North Penn High School. Joining me today is Mr. Wood, who coordinates our expansion project. And I guess last time we were out here looking at this project, it was about a month ago. And as you look at the project now, it looks like we moved considerably in terms of the outside. We have brickwork up. Looks like we're possibly ready at some point for windows down the road. A lot of work has been completed at this point, huh?
Yeah, we're very pleased. If you look up beyond the scaffold there, you see that the standing seam roof is on the Audion. All of our roofing is done on the entire addition. And of course, brickwork continues. The area where you see some felt paper on the side of the building, there's cast stone that goes there as well. And a lot of things you don't see, but the concentration is to run this stair tower 1, K1 as we've referred to it as, to run that on up. And of course brick runs all the way up where the spire is. Wherever you see exposed steel work, that will be a bricked in area. So we're pushing to get that done. That whole stair tower is not only brick on the exterior, but it's brick on the interior.
Well, it really has come a long ways. It's really from the road on Valley Forge Road, it really is shaping up to look like a magnificent building, and I've had nothing but positive comments from the parents in the community about the project and the exterior of the building.
Well, and the other thing I think it's important to mention now, and we're really excited about the quality, not only the quality, but the overall landscape plan, and I think it's a tribute to the landscape architect that we used. It was a firm out of Berwyn. We had not used them before, but it's obvious as you look at the property with the shade trees and with all the plantings that you see in the various islands and beds, that not only is the design good, the quality is excellent, and there are 6,000 grasses that have to go in yet, but they won't be put in until May. But you can see with the junipers and everything else that there's a lot of thought that went into it. We're fortunately for the first time at the high school out of mowing islands, which is time consuming, right, where you have to lift the mower up, start it, shut it off, take it down, go to the next island. We won't have mowable islands, and that certainly will be a good maintenance feature.
Well, the beautification of the property or the landscaping, everybody has commented positively on. The foundation shrubs that they put in are great. There have been some grasses on the sea-pod that they put in that look very nice. And of course, the trees that they've put in, you know, they're in a dormant period at the moment, and the leaves have changed color. It really has beautified the property. Everybody has commented very positively on that. I think when I retire, I'm going to be a landscaper.
Well, I think one of the things that happened to us, and we got very lucky, when they went to dig our stock this fall, we called for a 3.5-inch caliper, which is the diameter of the trunk. And unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us, they only had 6-inch. So we really got an upgraded shade tree throughout the property, and that's going to be helpful. I mean, we have an instant tree-lined driveway, and we can see that as we walk up here because of the size of the trees that were put in.
That's beautiful. Well, I guess we should walk inside and see what type of progress has been made on the inside of the building.
Fine.
Well, Art, we're on the inside of the building, and a lot of progress obviously has been made. A lot of drywall. You can see the cable trays in. You can see some of the cable lines in. Some of the ground face block in the stairway. Brick on the inside. Lots been done.
A lot of things are happening, especially with the infrastructure and the mechanical systems. We're insulated. Our domestic water system is insulated already. You can see the lower pipe is our sprinkler system. We're starting to close in now with sheetrock. We can truly identify classroom space. There's a classroom over here. You can see that there's a soffit above where the bookcase and unit ventilator goes, which is a nice touch. And there's total definition, and we'll see that as we walk down the hall. We'll see it in the Audion as well as the health suite. I mean, the health suite is easily identified now because the rooms have all been broken out and sheetrocked, and you can see really what the outline of the whole suite area is.
Yeah, you can actually see the indentations in the hallway for the lockers, certainly the door frames for the classrooms, so it's really coming together on the lower level at this point.
Yeah, for the lockers, for an example, if you look, well, there we're kind of blocked off, but as we walk down, we see an offset area for the lockers. It actually gets a pad poured, a concrete pad that the lockers sit up on. So that'll be happening soon too. And, you know, then it's a case of taking and spackling the drywall, and the walls in the corridor get ceramic tile so that they'll give us a better wear surface. But we're just moving at an excellent pace.
Okay, I guess we're going to be walking toward the Odeon in the front of the building.
And I guess it's interesting for both parents and students that have graduated from North Penn. The building has been set up as pods. We all remember A pod and B pod and C pod. Well, this will be K pod.
K pod is the designation.
Is the addition.
Yes.
So people will get used to going to the K pod, and our rooms will be numbered with a prefix. Rooms on the first floor, for an example, be K101, second floor K201, third floor K301.
As long as I don't get K9. I don't want K9. I guess this is the brick face that you were talking about here.
Yeah, there's a brick around each stairwell entrance, and of course then the split or the ground face block. But as we get down to the stair tower K1, the main stair tower, that is brick all the way up. And you'll see that when we get down there.
Art, we're in the lobby of the new addition. Off to my right's the Odeon, to the left the administrative suite, and in the back the health suite. A lot of progress has been made in each area. I see some brick in the stairwell here. It looks great. Looks like they're moving in the direction of the new current building, and a lot of progress, a lot of materials here to be put together.
Yeah, we're pleased with our progress here, and what we're doing now to winter in, we're not too concerned about that connecting link. Most of it is curtain wall windows, and there are 10 doors that go out so that when you're coming out of the auditorium.
Right.
So this wall that you see is just a temporary wall so that we can weather in and put some temporary heat in here. But overall, it's coming along at you know, in a good fashion. We're pleased with the progress. And as I said, I was talking earlier about the time that it takes to brick in a lot of areas that you don't necessarily see, but yet they get bricked over the long haul, and that's the kind of stuff we're doing now. We'll go up to the second floor and you can take a look at that. We may want to walk into the Odeon and take a look at it too.
Yeah, I can see they have the paneling on the outside of the Odeon.
Yep.
And it looks like it's coming to shape on the inside. Looks like they might be installing some electrical work in there now.
As you come in, we have a three-door entrance to the Odeon. And we talked earlier about the fact that it seats 248 people. So 3 doors will be more than adequate coming in. Control room off on the right, storage off on the left. Definition of the stage. That major beam is the proscenium, and that's the actual stage opening. We have the sloped floor going down to the stage.
It looks like they're installing a lot of the metal studs at this point for some of the soundproofing that's to be later installed.
That's correct. That's correct.
This looks like soundproofing panels on each side here.
That's exactly what it is. You can see the definition of the stage down there, which of course gets a wood floor. And this is the seating area.
Art, we're on the second floor of the new addition. We're in K1 stairwell. Previously, you pointed out some of the brickwork that goes from floor to ceiling in the stairwell, and some of the glass that is from floor to ceiling too, which will illuminate that stairwell. A lot of work is progressing, and it looks like we're up to the second level with brickwork here in this stair.
Actually, in this case, we go up to a 4th level because if you recall, we have stairs out to the roof for servicing mechanical equipment and so forth. But I think the important thing is where you see daylight looking this way, that remains daylight because this is a total glass front stair tower. And it's a nice bright, it'll give us a nice bright look, which is something that our architect does typically in all of his designs.
It's in a good position, actually, I guess, with the lighting coming in from the front of the building. It's
Right.
a nice location.
Right.
And we're on the second floor looking through a number of classrooms, and you can see all the metal stud work that they've established going through here.
These are all, as interestingly enough, on the second floor, every room is a standard classroom. So you're going to see the same footprint portrayed all the way down the outside and the inside of the corridor with nothing but standard classroom.
You can really see a difference from the first floor to the second floor. First floor has a lot of drywall. You can see all the materials up here ready to be
Right.
assembled with drywall.
Right.
And I guess that will be the next phase.
We can take a walk up through the mechanical room here and go out and look out on the roof. You'll see a lot of brickwork going on.
All right, we're on the second floor roof of, I guess, the lobby, or the connecting portion
That's
from the
correct.
lobby into the current building. And you can see even more detail in the brickwork, some of the accent pieces of the work being laid.
Yeah, interestingly enough, and people wonder why sometimes you'll go a week or two and you won't see great change visibly from the parking lot, and it's because a lot of these hidden areas that you won't typically see but yet require brick upon brick all the way up to the third floor roof. And that's what you're experiencing here. We want to get it behind us. It's more difficult than the front and the back of the building, and as a result, we're concentrating on it before we get into real cold weather. And we're running this up, and it's moving along at an excellent pace. As you can see, each day when I visit, I see the change in the amount of brickwork that's been done.
A lot of people don't realize we're standing on a roof, and we're standing on, I guess, some riverbed stone.
Delaware riverbed stone.
And this acts as kind of...
It absorbs the ultraviolet rays and really prolongs or lengthens the life of the rubber that's under it. So this is actually coming up from the bottom up. It's a steel deck roof. On the steel deck roof, there's 3 inches of lightweight gypsum concrete. Over the gypsum concrete is the rubber, and over the rubber are the Delaware River.
And this kind of
stone.
absorbs heat, I presume, and
Ultraviolet rays, and really increases the life of the rubber.
Okay. I guess we're going to move up to the third floor at this point. All right, we're on the second floor, and I'm looking at the ceiling, and I see some infrastructure here, a lot of copper tubing with a lot of shut-off valves. Kind of looks like maybe some gas piping and some water piping here. And you might want to talk to us about that.
Yeah, what happens, since we're putting 6 chem labs on the third floor, what we do is we run everything up from the second floor ceiling as far as our solenoids, our automated valves for all our water and our water supply, as well as our gas. And the other thing that most people aren't familiar with, but is something that you have to deal with, all of this piping that you see, the plastic piping, is acid-resistant piping. And that takes all the acid from the chem labs all the way downstairs, and then we have an acid separator in the ground out in the courtyard behind the building. And what happens is that separates the acid. The water then goes into the sanitary. The acid is then neutralized and, of course, becomes sanitary waste also. This piping is quite an intricate system, and you have to heat the fittings. And as we walk down here, you'll see the plumbers are now working on it. They've got a kettle with hot water, and that's how they fit those fittings. But all of those systems that you see in above each classroom ceiling, actually, that's the drain or the sanitary sewer lines for the chem labs, and that's why it's an acid resistant.
So it's a pretty sophisticated system. People don't probably realize that we separate our waste, and it's probably according to code and mandates and all those types of things, but that's a consideration when you build the building as complex as this.
Exactly. We'll go down here and go up to the third floor.
All right, we're on the 3rd floor and we're standing inside a chemistry lab. I can see some of the infrastructure we talked about that was on the 2nd floor coming up through the floor to be connected. So this is a fairly large looking lab, and we have prep rooms in between.
These are going to be excellent labs when they're finished. They'll certainly be state of the art and take us into the 21st century with chem labs. There's 6 of them. Between each chem lab, you have a student prep area where you can do your preparatory work before going into the lab. You have more than adequate storage. We have chemical storage areas. We have glassware storage areas. We have a lot of emergency functions up here. We have emergency eye wash, emergency showers. There'll be fire blankets, so we'll certainly have all the safety features you need to have in a high school lab. And this should really be an area that we can be proud of, I think, with the community, and an area with Roman Haas and Merck and all the other pharmaceutical companies. It's the kind of thing that has really come to the forefront with our youngsters as far as being very active in the field of science.
And it's really not an accident that we put them on the 3rd floor. Ventilation.
Lots of requirements as far as ventilation. And the reason you put them on the 3rd floor is everything then, all the hoods and so forth in the lab vent to the ceiling or the roof and go right on out where you're not bringing them back in with any makeup air for the rest of the building.
And probably one of the more expensive pieces in the building is the construction of a lab.
Yeah, chem labs, as these unfold and as we come back and we start putting in lab furniture and the lab stations, you'll see what constitutes a great cost in this building and in any building is when you do science labs.
So when you look at this building, not only do we have a number of classrooms, but we have some quality chemistry labs, and on the 1st floor we have some computer labs. Yeah, so this is a building that's kind of built for the next century.
That's right. We really wind up with 23 regular classrooms, 2 computer labs, 6 chemistry labs. So we really wind up with 31 occupied instructional areas, as well as the Audion, which can be used and will be used for large group, since we're going to have about 150 chairs that have tablet arms that swing up in the Audion.
And you know, again, every time I'm up here, I'm always impressed with the view. I'm always impressed with the view.
If I come back to substitute after retirement next year, I'll only substitute on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, but with a window facing Valley Forge Road. It's a beautiful view.
It is beautiful, and you really get to see our new tree-lined driveway out here. It really shows definition from up here. It's hard to believe that this parking lot is what it is, considering what it was this time last year. You know, I mean, the expansion and the way that it's taken such good definition. And our experience to date, since the opening of school, this new driveway that we put in has just been so helpful with traffic. And we're really pleased. And the other thing is, and it was the architect's idea, I think it was a great idea, when you enter off of Valley Forge Road and take the main driveway, it takes you right to the main entrance of the new addition.
Yeah, I always wondered with the current building, it brought you kind of off-center in front of the auditorium.
Exactly.
But what's really neat about this building is it has windows, it has character, it faces Valley Forge Road, and I think it's a marvelous accent piece for North Penn High School and School District. And this parking lot, as you said, is amazing when you look at the definition of the trees.
It would just appear to me, since we began this series way back when, we just seem to get more excited each time we get together. We'll probably have to slow that process down. There is an air of excitement. It's amazing how it even spills over to the workmen. I mean, the architect gets excited about what he had on paper as he begins to see it in reality. The contractors get excited, but even the workmen get excited because they have a lot of pride and a lot of time that they're putting in this facility.
I know my teachers are excited. My teachers are excited to get in the building. They can't wait for it to be finished. Certainly our chemistry teachers are thrilled, and we're all anxiously awaiting its completion. I want to thank you again for joining us for this expansion update. Certainly want to thank Mr. Wood, who's our expert on site here, providing much insight into the project. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at another time in the future for an expansion update.
Thank you.